Hi, I'm Lila McGuirk, and for this year's science fair project, I decided to test the effect of different types of soils on the weight of blue lake bush beans. The purpose of this experiment was to see if soil densities affect the weight of the beans. The hypothesis of my experiment is that the types of soils are less dense, then the weight of the beans will increase. And by less dense, I mean that the density is less than 0.8 grams per cubic centimeters. So I chose less dense to mean 0.8 grams per cubic centimeters because 3 out of 4 of my soils are rich in organic matter, which means they have a low bulk density. There's not a certain bulk density that you can say restricts root growth because all soils vary. To find the bulk densities of the soils, you have to find the volume and the mass, and then divide volume by mass. To find the volume, you need to find the ring volume. The ring volume is the same thing as the soil volume. The ring must hold all of your soil. I found a ring that had a height of 10 centimeters and a diameter of 7 centimeters. The ring held 1 1/2 cup of soil, and I was using 1 1/2 cups of soil for my experiment. If you were using 3 cups of soil, you would need to find a ring that would hold 3 cups of soil. The equation to find the ring volume is 3.14 times radius squared times ring height, and the ring I used was a metal can. The volume was 384.65 centimeters cubed. To find the masses of the soil, I filled a measuring cup up with 1 1/2 cup of soil and subtracted the measuring cup with soil minus the measuring cup. Now, I would have liked to use the ring that I used previously. However, I had 2 scales. One was a gram scale and one was a regular scale that was in pounds. And so the ring was too heavy for the gram scale because the gram scale only went up to like a certain amount, and it was too light for the other scale that was in pounds. So I had to use the measuring cup that was heavier, and so I could do it on the scale that was in pounds. I did this for the 32 1 1/2 cups of soils, and then I found the average for each soil by, again, dividing mass by volume. Clay had the highest bulk density at 0.8230 grams per cubic centimeter, then black gardening soil at 0.1663 grams per cubic centimeter, then loam at 0.1438 grams per cubic centimeter, then peat moss at 0.0993 grams per cubic centimeter. So a little side note is bulk density is both the solid and the pore space, while density is just the mineral solid. So I used the bulk density because of course the soil had little pore spaces, and we need to also count those. So that is why I used the bulk density. Now, to actually start the planting, you will need clay, loam, peat moss, black gardening soil, and about 12 cups for each. And then you will also need a gram scale, 3 flats with 11 compartments in each flat, 32 blue lake bush beans, a large LED light or a grow light, and this light should always stay on. And also, the compartments will have 33 of them, but we're only going to be planting 32 plants. So one of the compartments will be left untouched and left open. Now, I put 8 1 1/2 cups of each type of soil into the compartments. I dug a 1 inch by 1 inch hole in all the soils. I placed the bean in all the holes, and I covered the hole back up with the soil. I let the plants grow for 3 weeks, and I watered each plant 1/4 of a cup every week. After the plants have grown, I gently pulled out each plant and shook off the dirt that was on the roots. Now, it was hard to get every single speck of dirt off because in order for me to get some of the dirt, I would have to break the roots, and of course I wasn't going to do that. So a little bit of the dirt was left over, which is very unfortunate. So after that, you weigh each plant and find the average weights of the plants for each type of soil. So for my results, I found that the plants grown in loam weighed the most at an average of 1.665 grams. The plants grown in peat moss weighed the second most at 1.490 grams. Then black gardening soil at 1.452 grams. The plants grown in clay weighed the least at 0.3765 grams, which does make sense because at the beginning I said that clay had the highest bulk density, which means that it could have restricted root growth, or the water could maybe not have traveled down to the roots. So my hypothesis was correct and supported because the plants grown in loam weighed the most. Loam is a soil that is less dense because its bulk density is below 0.8 grams per cubic centimeters. One thing that I could have changed about this experiment is that instead of 3 out of 4 soils being less dense, I would have had 2 soils be less dense so that it would have been even. And I would have also liked to start this project earlier so that I could have grown the plants outside, but because it was so cold outside, I had to grow the plants inside under a grow light. However, overall, I really did love doing this project. Any questions?
Yes, over here. Thank you for calling on me. I really do appreciate it. Why did you choose those soils?
So I chose these soils because these are the most common types of soils that people use when gardening.